What's up? This is Richie from the Where We Wild YouTube channel, and today I'm installing a little drag clicker that I got on AliExpress, and I'm gonna throw it on my Shimano Slx XT. Let's get into it, man. All right, well, let's see what this thing came with here. Little drag washer. Oh, we got two little clickers. Interesting. A little bit of a gear with some, looks like some adhesive on the back. Huh. I wasn't expecting these two extra parts right here. So this, I guess, would maybe be a replacement for this once that goes. But this, I'm not really sure what the heck that is. I was under the impression that I would just need these four parts to do it, so that's interesting. Wonder if there's like a little bit of a spacing difference between these two, possibly. Huh, not sure. Let's just get into this, man. We got to get down into the reel, so first things first, let's just rip this spool out. That way that's just out of the way. Throw that up there. All right, let's bust her open. We got to start by taking this handle out. I'm going to start with a little flathead screwdriver. I like to go with the flatheads because these screws can strip out on you pretty easy, so a Phillips head sometimes can damage them quicker. Get rid of that. I think we got a 10 millimeter going clockwise to the right. Get that off. Now underneath this handle you got to be careful because there's a little bit of a spring and pin that makes the star drag click hidden under there, and if it comes flying out, it sits under this little piece right there. So just support that as it comes up and off. You don't want to lose that thing, man. You don't want to lose that. I'll show you. See that right there? I don't know if you can see, there's a little pin and a spring that grinds on those little rivets on the back of that, and that's what makes it click. So they are just microscopic, dude, so don't lose them. They will never be seen again if they bounce out and hit the floor. Spring. We got a little nut here. It should be turning, actually, you know what, I should have kept the spool in for that. Give me a little bearing, but once again, clockwise to the right. Underneath, you got a washer that has a copper side and a silver side. The copper side is always facing down. I'm just gonna leave that connected. Underneath that, you got two little spring tension washers that are usually sitting back to back, like back to back parentheses, if that makes sense. That way it adds a little spring effect. Do I need to take the tension knob off? I don't think so. All right, back to our flathead. We got two screws on the front, two on the back. Rip those out. Always make sure you got good lockup pressure before you start on these screws, man, because I'm telling you, they're made of like this really soft metal, and they just get busted up. I'm gonna place these on my mat in the order of which I found them, just in that same pattern. Makes life easier later on. There's one that's longer than the other and sits down on the back side of the reel. Excuse me. There's two. Here's the long one down here. I work on these things a lot, man. I don't know if you already are subscribed to the channel or you're watching for the first time, but I got a whole Shimano Reels playlist you can check out where I really tear all these reels apart. I have a big collection of them, just showing you how to tune them up, oil and grease, get them running nice and smooth, stuff like that. So if you're into this, you'll probably enjoy that as well. All right, get that up and off. I'm going to just take out the roller clutch inner tube that's in here. So I'm going to need that later. Let's get rid of our little springs so they don't go flying. Let's take this gear off. Underneath you got your drag washer and little cog here. This thing's keyed, so it's got to drop in perfect. Just like that. If it's off, it's just not gonna catch. Okay, drag washer back on. And just kind of sit that here for a moment. All right, what do we got going on here, boys? Underneath this, we're gonna have our drag washer. Now, I'm a little curious as to what's gonna happen here because I got a nice drag washer that I replaced in this reel already, and that's the little guy that it comes with. So I'm just curious here as to how the strength of the max drag is gonna be when I leave this big washer behind and use that one. I don't think I can use this one. I think I gotta use that one. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna wipe out any grease that I have inside this gear because I'm gonna need to stick that adhesive pad on here, and I may even need super glue, but we shall see. That remains to be seen. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. I just wanna take a little rubbing alcohol here, throw it on a Q-tip. Oops. I poured it right on there. And I just wanna try to maybe get off any grease that's on the inside of this to help their little adhesive pad stick. You know what I mean? Just want to clean that off, you know? All right, in theory that should help stick this little piece on. All right, so first and foremost here, this thing's got to sit right around there somewhere. And that fits on there pretty good. There's like a little lip on the inside of this, and I think that's fits it perfect. Just gonna peel off that little protective tape here. That'll do it. Air conditioner just kicked on because it's 100 degrees outside, so sorry for that noise, but I'm gonna need that. Gotta stay cool, baby. So I'm just pressing, trying to keep that on. I've been debating whether I want to use super glue on it or not, but I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary. I really don't. Seems to be on there pretty good. I guess if you're having problems and it's slipping off on you, a little drop of super glue might fly. But yeah, seems to be cool. Now we got our little drag washer here, I believe, that we're going to be throwing on top of that, and I just want to hook that up with a little Cal's universal reel and star drag grease I put on all my washers. And it basically just kind of prolongs their life so they don't burn up on you. You don't want to put too much because then the drag will slip on you, but you just want to put a tiny little, tiny little bit and let it soak it up like a sponge. All right, that's cool. Cool. I guess we could just throw this bad boy right on there, huh? Just start building on top of it. Guess that would be cool. How's this all looking, by the way? Well, since I'm in here, how are things, sir? How are things? Take a little bit of that old dirty stuff off. All right, so let's throw this gear on. Let's sit nice next to that pinion gear. Need something to prop this. This will work. Prop that up. All right. And we got our drag washer. Throw that down on there. And then we got our little clicker piece here. Now it's interesting, they got one side bent on it, one side not bent. And I bet if I bent the other side, it would double up the clicking action and make it even louder, I would assume. And they gave you an extra piece too, and I guess that's for if this breaks, or I mean that's pretty thin for sure. But let's fire it on there. I might even make that bend a little more harsh too. And then it's this blue piece here. So it seems. That works. Interesting. Now, I'm a little freaked out that you don't need this and you don't need your old drag washer anymore. I don't know how I feel about that. There's no way this thing's going to go back on there. So that's got to sit flush. So I'm basically thinking that's all it is right there. Yeah. Seems like that would be the case. I don't think there'd be room. I don't think you'd be able to use this big drag washer because then it wouldn't hit the clicks. I guess that's all it is right there, man. I guess that's all it is right there. All right. Well, let's test it out, shall we? I want to put a little bit of grease on my main gear because I kind of wiped everything off. So before I lock this bad boy back up, I'm just going to tap some grease on the outside of this gear. I'm just giving it a couple taps and then kind of mashing it in with my finger. Usually I do this while the gear is off the reel, but it's fine. You don't need to go nuts because it shares it with the pinion gear. That ought to do it. Looks good to me. Just wipe my hands off real fast. Throw our spring back on. Springs, plural, actually. Throw those bad boys on. Don't forget about them. Now let's get this cover back on. Well, first and foremost, actually, we got to put that roller clutch inner tube in there, and it's keyed. So I just want to sit that in. This is interesting, man. It's interesting. Let's get this cover back on here. Make sure everything's lined up good. So slowly press down. There we go. That's what we want. Let's get these screws in. I'm going to start with the long one first, down at the bottom here of the ramp. Okay, tight is tight. This next one. Spin around to the front. Man, these things are so tiny, dude. They like hurt your eyes. You really want to make sure you get a good lockup, because they will strip on you very, very easily. Last one. Last one, sir. Come on. All right. What's next? I guess we will, let's throw the spool back in, just because I can use that to my advantage in a moment. Let's get this handle back on. Our two tension washers, spring tension washers. All right. Nut here with the half gray / silver and half copper side. Copper side faces down. Then we got our little nut. Notice that there is an indentation on the top of the nut and it's flat on the bottom. That way you can sit the spring in there. So you want that indentation side pointed up. And that's going to gently screw in counterclockwise to the left. And you can hold the spool. This is why I put the spool in first. Holding that spool will keep this from rotating so you can tighten it down just a little bit. You don't need a tool or anything like that. Just hand tighten it down. Then you got the spring. Just a more solid side to the spring, and that faces down. And we got our drag star. Push that all the way in. Just got to get it to line up first. Keep pressure. Actually gonna rotate it a little bit. Might help. Handle. Get on there, boy. Now we're just gonna transfer the weight with our fingers, keep it balanced. Kind of like you're throwing a fastball, if you know what I'm saying. And then it's just counterclockwise to get that on. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. I want to see what it's like with this drag first. Okay, that moves nice. Seems to click. Right on, dude. All right. Just want to keep that fairly loose just until I tighten this up. Then we're going to tighten this counterclockwise, continuously counterclockwise. And I feel like you're not going to be able to, now there's a little bit more room to tighten this nut than there was before I did this. So I'm not going to over tighten it at all. That's interesting. I guess that's fine though. So you don't want to over tighten this nut. And speaking of that, it's got to be in the perfect position to match this pattern on the underneath side of the cap, or else this thing's not going to sit flush. Well, I got it perfect on the first try. How about that? But a lot of times you're going to see a little gap in between those two, which tells you you need to either tighten it a little bit more or back off it a little bit just to line up a point of this nut with that little hole. And that way this cap sits on perfect. So if you ever have that gap sitting there, that's exactly what's going on. You got to keep tightening or you got to back off it because you over tightened it. This last little screw in here. I'll link all these tools, by the way, in the video description for you in case you want to get into this. The mat, the screwdriver set, you know, the grease, everything I use here. Wrench, I do it in every video. Having the right tools for the job is a really, really big part of this type of stuff. Alrighty, man. Just want to work in that grease that I added real fast. That'll work. All right, let's see what happens here with this drag. I'm going to take the tape off the spool. My tension knob is really, really loose. That's better. Let's take this tape off here. All right, moment of truth, boys. See what happens. There she is. So she's clicking. All right, now with that tiny little drag washer that I had to put in there that it came with, how strong is my drag gonna be? That's my question. It clicks, but now let's see how strong. I'm gonna fire this thing down, lock it up a bit. All right. Lock it down even further. All right. I'm pulling way harder than any fish is gonna, man. And it's holding. All right. I'm not mad at that. Let's back it off a bit. Huh. Hey, not bad, dude. I'm not mad at this. I was honestly a little concerned when I saw that tiny little drag washer. I didn't think it would have much power. But I just yanked on that thing pretty darn good while it was locked down, and it did not budge very much. And I could have locked it down even a bit further. So, hey, not bad, dude. Not bad for a little cheap drag clicker off AliExpress. Pretty cool. I don't know how the heck you pronounce the name of it. Gwins, maybe? G-I-W-N-S, I believe. But got it for the left-handed reel. Seems to work. Seems to work. I'm stoked. Now it's pretty easy to do, right? Now the only thing I don't know for sure here is why I got this piece. What is this? It's kind of tough, you know? This thing doesn't come with directions. I don't know if it's a spacing difference. Like, if you put this on instead of the blue piece, is it gonna give you more room to play with that drag star? I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I don't know. The way I got it right now seems to be working pretty darn well, so I'm not mad at it. I still gotta fish with this thing and see what it's like, but so far so good. Seems like it's working. Everything's tightening and loosening. I got nice, good max drag tension when I'm pulling on it while it's locked down. It's making a cool sound for sure. Not mad at it. Pretty cool. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're into this sort of thing, don't forget to hit subscribe. We put a new video out every single week. And definitely check out the Shimano Reels playlist we have up on the channel. I got a big collection of Shimano Reels. I'm always tearing into them, tuning them up, showing you how to get them running at peak performance, oil, grease, all that good stuff. So if you're into this type of video, you might really like that playlist, and it might actually really help you out. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Later. If you want to see more videos just like this one, be sure to check out the rest of the Where We Wild YouTube channel, where we post a brand new video every week. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever we post a new adventure. Thanks for watching. See ya.